It's you I like. It's not the things you wear. It's not the way you do your hair. But it's you I like. The way you are right now. The way down deep inside you. The things that hide you. Not your toys. They're just beside you. But it's you I like. Every part of you. Your skin, your eyes, your feelings. Whether old or new. I hope that you'll remember, even when you're feeling blue, that it's you I like, it's you yourself, it's you, it's you I like.
Thank you, Becky. Please rise for the processional hymn and the gray hymnal. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Hymn number 361.
My name is Sandra Flansburgh. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Welcome to First Unitarian Church, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We welcome you in your brokenness and in your wholeness, no matter who you have been, who you are, or who you are becoming. We especially welcome the many guests with us this afternoon who have joined us in person and online for this important occasion. We greet you today with love. I'd like to extend a special welcome to everyone who is watching us on YouTube. You can find a link to the online copy of the order of service in the chat area. We also ask that you please introduce yourself in the comments and let us know where you're joining from. Alyssa is looking forward to reviewing the comments to see who is able to join us for this occasion online. We gather together this afternoon for a very special reason: to ordain our beloved Alyssa Lee into the Unitarian Universalist ministry. This act is special to us at First Unitarian because Alyssa was a longtime member of and leader in our congregation, and she heard her call to ministry right here. We are grateful to the other congregations where Alyssa interned and served, congregations that now have also had an important influence on what her ministry is going to be. We especially offer our blessings and congratulations to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Wilmington, North Carolina, where Alyssa is just starting her first settled ministry. It is our honor to host this act of ordination, both for who Alyssa is and will be, and for what this means for us as a congregation that grows and shapes new ministers in the UU ministry. The people of First Unitarian, those who know her well as our newer members who may not have yet had the privilege of knowing her, are grateful for what this afternoon signifies. We welcome you.
Good afternoon. It is good to be together. Spirit of life, source of love that sustains us and comforts us. Still, small voice that challenges us and calls us to do brave things, to feel compassion, to love justice. Holy mystery that knows us and calls us home to our true selves. We gather here today in your presence to lift up our beloved Alyssa and to consecrate her ministry. In doing so, we carry on a tradition that sustains our faith community. Come, let us celebrate together.
May this be a house of joy. May we be open here to dreams and to each other.
May all who enter in these magic walls feel love and feel respect for learning and each other. May we be always friends to life. May we walk in that friendship.
May learning live in this house.
May it never leave. By Lucille Clifton.
Remember, by Joy Harjo. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon, know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. I beg your pardon, I'm sorry. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life who all have their tribes. I'm sorry, it's just how this is going to be. Who have all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them. Listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember, you are all people. All people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember, the dance language is, that life is. Remember.
Let us all together join in this declaration hymn in the teal hymnal number 159. The gray hymnal. My brain is running on overtime. The gray hymnal 159. This is my song.
It is now time to collect a special offering. The recipient of this offering, Voices Organized in Civic Engagement, was selected by our ordinand, Alyssa Lee, as an organization that is especially close to her heart. As she reflects, I wouldn't be the kind of minister that I plan to be without the community organizing work I was involved in through this church as a leader with Voice, Oklahoma City's interfaith organizing group. This church was a founding member and continues to be one of its strongest actors. As a former Voice leader and its most recent organizer, and we've got another founding organizer over there, I'm honored to introduce this organization to many of you this afternoon. Part of the Industrial Areas Foundation's international network of local organizing groups, Voice brings together congregations, nonprofits, and unions in the metro area. We work to better understand the pressures ordinary people in our city face by actually listening to those people. We then engage those who are impacted by those pressures in better understanding the issues and learning to work effectively within the democratic process for improvements that benefit all. We strengthen democracy locally, talking and working with each other across the lines that too often divide us geographically, racially, and so on. Voice leaders, including formerly incarcerated people and their families, were the first to publicly surface the terrible impacts on struggling individuals and families that criminal justice fines and fees have on a largely indigent people struggling to begin a new life. Voice uncovered corrupt practices at the county jail and won the establishment of a Citizens Advisory Board. Voice has saved Oklahoma consumers, residents, and businesses alike over $1 billion in proposed utility rate hikes and won greater transparency and accountability from both regulators and those regulated by the Corporation Commission. Voice won a reversal in the trend and a reduction in the number of high-stakes testing that children in our public schools are required to take. Voice has developed new leaders in our immigrant communities and continues to lead actions to oppose anti-immigrant legislation, keep families together and supported, and honor the contributions and presence of a vibrant and diverse part of our city. For those of you who are in the sanctuary with us today, in just a moment we'll be passing the offering plate. And if you're watching us online, please make your gift by sending a check to First Unitarian Church. Just write ordination in the memo line, or make an online payment through our website, oneuc.org.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody said it, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do you think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that called the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Would you please join me in prayer or a spirit of quiet reflection? Spirit of life, source of love, God of many names and no name at all, May we be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. May we be grateful for all those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. And may we be grateful even for our own needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Thank you for bringing us together here today, for safe travels to and from this sanctuary, and for bringing us together virtually. We are gathered here today in celebration, yes, but our purpose is also solemn. The mantle of ministry can be a heavy one, with responsibilities, pitfalls, and loneliness. We pray that you watch over Alyssa, nurture her courage, her humility, and her faith. Bless her and keep her. And may she always carry with her the feeling of belonging and love that surround her here today. The conviction that she is called to do this ministry, not just by you, and not just by her own faith and values, but by this community which believes in her. May it be so. Amen.
A reading from The Sound of the Genuine by Reverend Howard Thurman. There is in every person something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine. There is in you something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. Nobody like you has ever been born, and no one like you will ever be born again. You are the only one. If you cannot hear the sound of the genuine in yourself, you will never find whatever it is you are searching for. And if you do hear it and then do not follow it, it would be better had you never been born. You are the only you that has ever lived. Your idiom is the only idiom of its kind in all existences. And if you cannot hear the sound of the genuine in you, you will, all of your life, spend your days at the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. The sound of the genuine is flowing through you. Don't be deceived and thrown off by all the noises that are part even of your dreams and your ambitions when you don't hear the sound of the genuine in you. Because that is the only true guide you will ever have. And if you don't have that, you don't have a thing. Cultivate the discipline of listening to the sound of the genuine in yourself. There is something in everyone that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in other people. I must wait and listen for the sound of the genuine in you. I must wait, for if I cannot hear it, then in my scheme of things, you are never present. So, as I live my life then, this is what I'm trying to fulfill, that I am secure because I hear the sound of the genuine in myself, and having learned to listen to that, I can become quiet enough, still enough, to hear the sound of the genuine in you. Now, if I hear the sound of the genuine in me, and you hear the sound of the genuine in you, it is possible for me to go down in my spirit and come up in your spirit, so that when I look at myself through your eyes, having made that pilgrimage, I see in me what you see in me. Then the wall that separates and divides will disappear, and we will become one, because the sound of the genuine makes the same music
I am the Reverend Dr. Stephanie May. My pronouns are she and her. And while the order of service says I am indeed currently the minister at First Church in Boston, 2 years ago I was the minister at First Parish in Wayland, where Alyssa did her internship. And the first time I met with Alyssa, she spoke of you, her beloved home congregation in Oklahoma City. She spoke of nursing her son during board meetings and of organizing groups to engage in social justice. So I am not surprised that we are here today for her ordination. Here, where her meandering religious search found its port. Here, where she and her family were held in joyous times and in one of the hardest times of their life. And here, where as a lawyer, she felt a call to another vocation. And here is where we gather as multiple congregations in person and online to weave together the cords of her journey as a congregant, an intern, a contract minister, and now a settled minister. This braid of congregations is not insignificant. Rather, this interplay of congregations and ministers is fundamental to our understanding of what it means to be Unitarian Universalists, or UUs. In our tradition, no one becomes a minister without belonging to a congregation, which is to say, without congregations, there would be no UU ministers. And yet, the process of becoming a minister is also deeply personal. Again and again and again, in classes and forums and interviews, candidates for ministry are asked to reflect on their own faith journey. Like the reading from Howard Thurman that the Honorable Joanne Horn just read, aspiring ministers are challenged to find the sound of the genuine in themselves and who they are as a person and as a minister. And today's service sparkles with the you who is Alyssa Lee in the joyful music, the offerings call to support social justice, and the thoughtfulness of her readings, which of course includes a poem. Appropriately today, it's very much about Alyssa and listening to the sound of the genuine in her. But it is also by necessity about the congregations represented here today, because there would be no UU ministers without congregations. Last spring, I celebrated my own 10-year anniversary of ordination as a UU minister. Like Alyssa, my ordination was a mix of folks from the congregation where I had been a member, from my internship congregation, and from the search committee of the First Parish in Wayland, where I was about to begin my first settled ministry. And I just want to say, hello, Wayland folks. Our congregations may sometimes feel separate, but we are also linked through people and not just ministers. I suspect all of our congregations have members who also belong to another UU congregation at some point, or they have friends or families who belong to another UU congregation. And I also know that some folks know only one place as their first and last Unitarian Universalist congregation, like Mary, a beloved Wayland congregant who recently died at the age of 102. She was a member of First Parish in Wayland since 1953 for 71 years. And during that time, many congregants, interns, and ministers like me crossed paths with Mary and brought what they learned and experienced to other places. For example, it was Mary, who had served in intelligence services during World War II, who after the 2016 election came to me and said, "I thought we beat the fascists once before." overhearing our exchange with Sam, who now ministers to his own congregation. Sam and I both remember that moment with Mary as we continue the prophetic work of calling for the use of the democratic processes in our congregations and in our nation as a whole. The sound of the genuine in Mary echoes in us. Congregations are the places where we all engage in the holy work of learning to hear and value the sacred song within ourselves and in others. Such work is wondrously beautiful and just really hard sometimes. I know some critics suggest that Unitarian Universalism is easy. You can just believe whatever you want. And some even suggest that UUism, it's not even a real religion. Without theological creeds, a defined canon of scriptures, or a singular founding figure, to many, Unitarian Universalism doesn't even look like a religion. However, I understand religion more broadly as the search to live meaningfully and well. We want lives of purpose. We want to do what is right and good and just. Figuring out what that looks like is the work of religion. And as Unitarian Universalists, we are called to do that work with each other in congregations. The importance of congregations in our religious life began nearly 400 years ago when thousands of Puritans began arriving on the shores of New England, fleeing what they experienced as the tyrannical control of the Church of England. They dared to cross an ocean for a chance to live out their understanding of what it meant to live meaningfully and well. Establishing self-governing churches, today we continue to use their system of congregational polity, which is to say a system of governance that places congregations as the foundational element. And yet, we also must remember that alongside this polity, our heritage also includes the genocidal impact of white colonial settlement on indigenous nations, as well as the colonist enslavement of indigenous and African people. History and heritage are rarely, if ever, simple truths to celebrate. And our inheritance of congregational polity is something we still value. It is often traced to a 1648 document known as the Cambridge Platform. Seminarians, it's like a rite of passage to try to get through this long document. Created by representatives of the newly formed New England churches, they defined a church simply as a group of people combined together by covenant for the worship of God. Or as I might say today, a congregation is a group of people combined together by covenant in the shared search for what it means to live meaningfully and well. Now, notably, the Cambridge Platform explicitly states that such churches or congregations do not need officers, not even ministers, to exist. The existential ingredients are simply people and religious purpose. However, the platform adds that leaders, including ministers, are helpful to the well-being of a congregation. Indeed, you might have experienced this. Holding both the intention to be in community and to accept that we don't always agree is not always easy. staying within the swirling tensions of discord over various matters, from the right way to recycle to the best way to address falling attendance numbers, can strain even the fondest relationships. Sometimes it helps to have leaders like ministers to remind us of that covenant or mission that unites us. Sometimes congregations may benefit from someone with specialty training as a professional mediator like Alyssa to help navigate tensions. Or sometimes ministers' training and pastoral care and theology might help congregations respond to heartbreaking losses, or when the horrific happens, as it did a year ago when Hamas attacked Israel, and in the years since by the devastating response of Israel against Palestine. No minister, indeed no one person, will ever have the answers to the pain, injustices, and struggles of life. But ministers are trained to help congregations and individuals as we each and all try to make our way through life. This is the work to which we ordain Alyssa today. Not to fix the world, not to have all the answers, and certainly not to be perfect, whatever that is. Rather, we ordain Alyssa and ministers generally to support the well-being of congregations, to support the wondrous, difficult intention to come together and unite as a group of people with shared purposes and values. This is not to say that ministers only work in congregations. Community ministers work as chaplains, teachers, therapists, activists, and more to help people live meaningfully and well. But all UU ministers are ordained by congregations, and most will retain a tie to a congregation. The taproot of our religious tradition is the commitment to coming together as groups of people united by covenant and religious purpose. Maintaining this bond while also making space for difference is not easy. Our way of being religious as UUs asks us to live within the tension of celebrating the particular you of each person's life, and a commitment to just and equitable community. A day like today reminds us of this integral relationship between the gifts of religious community and the gifts an individual can bring to support the well-being of that community. We are here to ordain Alyssa and celebrate her gifts and years of hard work and training to become a minister. And we are here as a braid of congregations who have both nurtured Alyssa and received care from Alyssa as a minister. So also, each of us who are members of congregations participate in this holy work of learning to hear and value the sacred song within ourselves and in others. By joining with others and religious community, we might just find ourselves transformed by the power of love and the sound of the genuine within each and all of us. So may it be. Amen. I invite you now to rise in body or in spirit as we sing together a song number 170 in your great hymnal, We Are a Gentle, Angry People. And I draw your attention to the new lyrics for verse 5, which invites us to go beyond a gender binary and differences of sexuality to say we are all in this together. So please sing that for verse 5. Thank you.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
In the living tradition of Unitarian Universalism, the authority to confer ordination lies wholly within each individual congregation. It is a meaningful and joyous occasion when a congregation comes together, as we have, to recognize a person who has chosen ministry as her life's work. This act of ordination confers the authority of religious leadership, the title of reverend, and the privilege to wear a stole. This act also celebrates the relationship between Alyssa Lee and this religious community, where Alyssa first heard her calling to the ministry. Alyssa, you began your journey and relationship with Unitarian Universalism within this congregation. You served in many roles during your time here, including on the Board of Trustees, Membership Committee, Lifespan Faith Development Team, Chair of the 1UC Voice Action Team, and search committees. It was from this place that you eventually left for Massachusetts to pursue your ministerial internship at First Parish in Wayland. Alyssa, you have undergone the work of preparation for ministry and have been recognized by the Ministerial Fellowship Committee of our association as ready to serve. We have witnessed your commitment and gifts in this congregation and elsewhere, and we honor your calling to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. Among us, and wherever you may be called to serve, we invite you to preach the word of truth in freedom and in love, ministering alike to joys and to sorrows, setting by example through your actions and intentions the principles of our free faith. Are you ready to accept this responsibility?
I am.
Will the members of First Unitarian Church of Oklahoma City please rise in body or spirit? Your part is in here. Please join me in proclaiming the following. We, the members of First Unitarian Church of Oklahoma City, do hereby ordain you, Alyssa Lee, to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. This is a reflection of our faith in and support of your ministry. We pledge ourselves to journey with you in unity of spirit, in the bond of peace, and in all the ways of truth and love.
With a deep sense of obligation and opportunity, mindful of the privileges and responsibilities to which I am called, I take up this ministry to which you ordain me.
Will the entire gathered community of friends, family, colleagues, and companions now please rise in body or in spirit, and please join me in affirming this ministry. It is with joy that we affirm and recognize your ordination. We offer you our continuing love and support, mindful that perfection is not the goal of religious life. Love sings in the world both during times of struggle and blessing. May you always feel the spirit of life, hope, and justice in your heart. Thank you. We wish you well as you begin your settled ministry with the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Wilmington, North Carolina, and with whatever the future holds for your service. Let us rejoice.
Good afternoon. My name is Paula Geisinger, and my pronouns are she, hers. I am a member of the Fabric Connections group, and it is my privilege to present your stole today. It is also my immense pleasure, Alyssa. While working with you on the board and becoming better acquainted with you over the years, I became impressed with your intelligence, your determination, and your compassion for this church. You inspired me then and continue to do so as I watch your path unfold. I thank Silver for her design interpretation of your ideas from which the group drew this project. I thank each member of the Connections group for their part in the design and construction of this stole. Some were sewists, some were models, and all contributed to the design and fabric choices. This is very much a group effort. The stole represents the earth, the sea, the sky, and the cosmos of which we are all a part, just as you are a part of First Unitarian Church. May it grace you and your ministry from this day forward.
It's time for the homemades. Alyssa, as you've been on your journey, you've grown closer in your spirit and you've grown closer in nature, as is shown by the stole there. And this is another representation of your love for nature and nature's love for you.
I also brought the stole that was given to me that I haven't been able to wear yet, that was presented to me by Brookfield Unitarian Congregation. They gave it to me as a going away gift, so I wanted to also represent them as well.
I'm Carmen McBride. My pronouns are she and her. So now I'd like to share some letters from places that have been very special in the journey that Alyssa has been on. The first one is going to be from First Parish in Wayland, Massachusetts, which you've already heard a lot about. That's where Alyssa did her internship. Alyssa, your friends at First Parish in Wayland are so proud and happy for your success and to celebrate this milestone with you. Looking back at the time when you applied for an internship at our congregation, it is hard to recall how frozen and shut down the world was when we first met and interviewed you. In March 2021, when face-to-face encounters with strangers were handled with the utmost care, if fear not, you were pursuing a change to move halfway across the country with your young family, leaving a former professional career behind, transferring into cultural change that couldn't be entirely comprehended in advance. You told us that you wanted to continue to help create change in the world for those who needed it, but in a new and a different way. The first months at First Parish were hard, settling George into a new life, experienced the shock of Northeast housing prices, and trying to make connections with people you could not meet in person. We were all learning, sometimes painfully, how much harder it is to build relationships when casual encounters become the rarest event. Giving you first services to a camera lens rather than whole people meant that you received none of the visual and fleeting feedback that help build confidence and growth. But everything changes, and as that frozen time began to thaw, we all began to grow in new roles and relationships. Your homilies and sermons and the readings you chose were welcome sources of warmth and comfort for people, and you began to string together the connections that are the warp and weft of the fabric of ministry that you are carefully weaving. The encouragement and appreciation that we shared with you, flowing in both directions, contributed to the foundation of your first independent ministry in Brookfield, where you continued using your gifts to help others who looked to you for insight, for guidance, and for compassion. Now you take the next bold steps into your future with your full ordination today and the beginning of your first settled ministry in August. We hope you remember your time at First Parish as one of growth, opening, and an accomplished beginning to your ministerial path, and that those elements will also sustain you today and as you embark on building ministerial community with your new congregation in Wilmington. Our second is from Robin Vincent, President of the Congregation of Brookfield UU in Brookfield, Massachusetts, where Alyssa served last year. In March of 2023, I was throwing myself a massive, prolonged pity party. I had become president of Brookfield Unitarian Universalist Church in Brookfield in the very expensive state of Massachusetts, and at the beginning of the church year. From the beginning, I felt like I was minimally capable of being even just a passable president. So I relied on our minister to help me out very frequently, especially because I had zero skills when it came to anything tech. Fortunately, I learned many things quickly, except for computer skills, which Alyssa can attest to. By March, I had a little bit of self-confidence in my role. So when our beloved minister asked to meet with me in March, I was totally caught off guard when, after 10 wonderful years, he told me he was leaving at the end of the year due to reasons that were unrelated to the church. I was positive that no one would ever come close to filling his large shoes. Then the stars aligned for us. A woman who hadn't even graduated from the seminary yet applied to become our minister. Would she even know what to do? I wondered rather uncharitably. Well, she wowed us during her fantastic interview, and after she left the interview, we didn't even discuss her interview. All we talked about was how quickly could we make her an offer. When Alyssa accepted our offer, we were thrilled. So even though we were a thriving church with a very strong community, magic happened once Alyssa became our minister. Alyssa invited us to think about how we could do things differently, allowing us to see the loss of our long-term minister as an opportunity for growth. Alyssa's love of poetry was demonstrated when she artfully included poetry in, I can say with confidence, every one of her services. Alyssa's kindness, intelligence, sense of humor, and calm presence dovetailed incredibly well with us. Oh, I must say something about her calm presence. Because I communicated with her practically every day, I knew that she was sometimes nervous, but no matter, when Alyssa talked to you, feeling nervous or not, she let you know that she was interested only in you and what you had to say with her calm presence. Alyssa was greatly admired by our small but mighty staff, no mean feat. Our executive board enjoyed having her in our meetings. She always brought her sense of humor and endless anecdotes about her years as an attorney. But what we most appreciated was her feeling like a breath of fresh air, blending an outsider's perspective with an amazing amount of knowledge about our UU faith. Alyssa's year with us flew by. I will always deeply regret that we weren't able to afford to offer her a full-time position. Every member of our church was extremely sad to have her leave us. Our loss is Wilmington's gain. Today is a wonderful day with everyone celebrating. Our UU faith is being enhanced with Alyssa's ordination. Alyssa already has each characteristic I can think of that I would want a minister to possess. Alyssa You will always remain an honorary member of BUUC. Now, Reverend Alyssa, we are happy for your having attained what you have worked so hard for. We wish you nothing but happiness and fulfillment in your new role, and may those feelings never leave you for all of your days. Thank you for letting the little stone church that rocks be a part of your life. The pleasure was all ours. And our final letter is from Unitarian Universalist Church of Wilmington, North Carolina, where you will be. Dear Reverend Alyssa, on behalf of our entire congregation, the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Wilmington, North Carolina, extend our warmest and most enthusiastic congratulations to you on the occasion of your ordination. This significant milestone is a testament to your dedication, spiritual growth, and commitment to Unitarian Universalism. As our full-time minister, you have demonstrated how effective a faith leader you have become. The board extends our sincere thanks to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Oklahoma City for helping forge your UU faith and for bestowing on you the well-earned title of Reverend of the UU. Sincerely, James Reeves.
All right. You can lean. Okay. Alyssa gets to lean because there's some more things coming. So, oh, what a joy to be with you all on this beautiful afternoon in July or October, as we call it, autumn in Oklahoma. My name is the Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk, and I am the Schulman Chair of Unitarian Universalist History at Meadville Lombard Theological School, where Alyssa is a graduate and now alum. And we have several alums here with us today, and it's a joy to see them and those who are tuning in online. And I also bring greetings from All Souls Unitarian Church in Tulsa. There are just a few elements left in our service, so I invite you to stay in it with me. And as I've invited Alyssa to continue standing up here with me, this is a sacred moment. This is a holy place where the ancestors lean in. And I want to tell and share two stories that are important and are a part of your charge to ministry. Okay. First, a story from nature. You like that? I'm knocking things over. Excellent. A story from nature that was told to me a few years ago by my dear friend Laurel Holman, which is in itself a symbol of the charge to ministry. Laurel Holman was a longtime minister of our church in Dallas for nearly 30 years. She served that congregation, and she has been a dear colleague and friend all these years. Keep your friends close. So Laurel told me a story a while back that encompasses the fullness of ministry. It's about a trip she took in 1988 to Tacoma, Washington to visit a friend. It was during her first year of settlement in the Dallas church, and she was going to visit her friend and have a chance to kind of take a breath after that first year of ministry. Laurel's friend wanted her to experience a memorable view of Mount Rainier. So one morning they walked up the trail to a viewing platform to see the mountain in all of its glory. But on that day, there was a heavy fog. The mountain was completely hidden. Several people were already waiting on the platform at the rail. They too were hoping to see the mountain. They lingered, thinking that perhaps the morning sun would burn off the fog and they could see the mountain in all of its splendor. They waited and waited, and then they moved aside as Laurel and her friend moved to the railing for a closer look, when suddenly the fog faded away and they could see Mount Rainier clearly shining in the sunlight. The disappearance of the fog had been so sudden, it was almost magical. And then someone nearby said, "Wow, somebody's got clout." Well, my friend Laurel, my friend Laurel's friend turned to her and looked at her knowingly, suggesting that that small miracle must be due to the arrival of her friend, the minister, coming to the platform, to the railing just at that moment. As she caught her eye and nodded at her with a smile, a bird flew overhead and pooped on Laurel. Welcome to the parish ministry, Alyssa. Or ministry in general. I share this story with you because it reveals one of the dynamics of ministry. It is a call where one experiences the highest highs and the lowest lows. You will bless newborns, you will preach stunning sermons, you will lead your congregation to do great things. You will hold the hand of a beloved member as they slip the bonds of this life. Just as you finish the last words of a prayer, you will make a phone call just when a person needs it, or walk in the door of the hospital just as they needed a kind word. People will say marvelous things to you. And there will also be the hard days when you are frustrated by inaction. You will be disappointed. They will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. There will be new learning as you and the congregation learn how to be together, to find meaning, to build a new and better way. And you will have your heart broken when people move away, sometimes fade away, and you don't understand why. Ministry will break your heart. So I charge you to remember your humanity, lit from inside by a divine spark and expressed outside by your actions and your love. You will need companions on this journey to travel the peaks and valleys of ministry. I see some of those companions in this room. I know many are online. I know your names, and I don't know your names, but I know that you're there for Alyssa. Alyssa, reach out when you need them and give them support when they call. Now, one more story. This one is far older. It's an ancient story about a Jewish peasant who became a teacher, who came ashore on a boat to find a crowd waiting, and he began to address the thousands gathered there to hear him. The teacher speaks to the crowd for the rest of the day, and when it grows late, his followers come to the teacher and say, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is now very late. Send the people away so they can go to the surrounding country and the villages and buy something for them to eat." But then the teacher said something startling to this very practical suggestion. The teacher said to his followers, the closest inner circle, "You give them something to eat." You give them something to eat. Now, I always think of this moment in this old story where the followers must burst out laughing when the teacher says, "Give them something to eat." With what food? It's seemingly a ridiculous request. They're not hauling around enough food to feed thousands, but immediately they do what many of us would do, and they turn to the practical fix of things. They turn to the practical side, they look for the fix, they ask the teacher if they really that the teacher doesn't really want them to maybe go to town, buy some bread with the money they have, and give it to the people to eat. Well, what happens next is what most people remember in the story, and you might already know what the story is about. The teacher asks the followers, how many loaves of bread have, how many fish, and they return with very, very disappointing news. We have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Now, the teacher did not appear to be shocked by this news. He instructed his followers to get people organized, and after the blessing of the bread, dividing the fish, everyone was fed. All ate and were filled with bread and fish still in the baskets. Now that's the part most people remember about this ancient story. 5,000 people were fed, they ate, they were filled, and there was leftovers too. But when you jump to the end of the story, you miss the most important part at the beginning. The teacher told his followers, you give them something to eat. These words are words I have carried close for, goodness now, 27 years of ministry. Do not send the people away to the surrounding towns and villages when they feel like they are in the middle of nowhere, and when maybe you perhaps don't feel that you have enough to give. The minister, that's you, must give them something to eat and work with the others who are there to give them something to eat for their spiritual hunger in word, in action, in music, in poetry, in art, and presence. Spiritual food, nourishing enough for people to grow spiritually, for people to find meaning in this life, and for your people to be strong enough to help to build a better world in times that we're told that there is not enough at the table, there's not enough for all in this country, at the voting polls, not enough profit for better wages, not a place for people singled out by race, ethnicity, gender, and sexuality, and our beautiful earth, our pained and suffering earth. The garden we live in is not well either. So bring the spiritual food, Alyssa. Make it varied, make it nourishing, and although I hope at every meal it is what Martin Luther King Jr. called the bread of love, that will help you speak the truth when it's hard to hear, because you will speak the truth in love. And don't forget in all of this, to feed yourself. Do more than make time for your spiritual practice. Book it, put it on the calendar. You have an obligation. Do not cancel it when the pastoral news comes and you're needed or the sermon is not getting done. And pay close attention to feeding your family. Spending time with them, which is also a way to feed yourself. Keeping those loving relationships and time and presence for them as a part of your daily practice. Exercise, read, write, feed yourself so that you can feed your people. So, I charge you to cherish the past, but do not make it a burden. And I charge you to lead along the way where there are no maps. For you are one of the leaders of our future. Blessed be, and amen.
For this next hymn, in the teal hymnal this time, we are going to have a little bit of a call and response. It's my practice here at First Unitarian Church of Oklahoma City to have a congregational conversation through music. So we extend some parts to you and we respond, and it is fun. So to help me with this, I have Eliza Ravencroft and Lana Henson. They are going to help us with the verse. And the hymn I'm talking about is in the Teal Hymnal 1014. The title reads, Standing on the Side of Love, but today we're not standing. We're going to be answering the call of love. So, wherever you see the text, standing on the side of love, we're going to be singing, answering the call of love. And there are 3 verses. They know what to do with the verses. I did that beforehand, so you don't have to go into all that. But we're all going to sing together from We Are, like picking up from the 2nd page into the 3rd page. That's where we all start to sing. And we're going to get a little bluesy and groovy with this. Okay. I'm going to have to ask Ellie, come this way. And I'm just going to help us from the middle. The choir will stand. You don't have to stand, but the choir will stand.
Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love.
A bright new day is dawning,
When love will not divide,
reflections of grace,
in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of
Yeah, we're not done yet. I am the Reverend John Lou Johnstone. I'm apparently now the pastor and worship minister here. And I am pleased and proud and honored to be welcoming Alyssa Lee into the circle of ministers. You called it a kinship. I think that might be a good term because we don't always pick all of our kin, and we wouldn't always pick all of our kin, but they are our kin nonetheless. And it's a little bit the same with our ministerial colleagues. We wouldn't pick them all, but they are our colleagues. And I am welcoming you into their midst. I'm especially aware as I'm doing that I am welcoming you into a line of colleagues who have been part of this church, who have been nurtured and honored and come into ministry from this church. I would name Don Fielding and Roy Reynolds and Russ Savage and Mark Christian and Eva Cheskava and Julie Conradi. Yeah, there are a bunch. There are a bunch. This church does good. So I welcome you into that line of ministers. I welcome you into this circle of ministers. And I want to say to you what was said to me by Gretchen Woods when I was ordained more than 30 years ago, which is that never hesitate to ask a colleague for what you need. Never hesitate to ask a colleague for what you need. And I think the corollary to that is something that I learned from some of the old white male dinosaur ministers who always used to say that when a colleague asks, the answer is yes. So that is the relationship we have. It is a kinship in that sense. So that's what I want to say to you. And then a little point of personal privilege, because I watched you have some little inklings of ministerial something a long time ago in voice, coming into voice and that kind of stuff. And I am just so personally proud of you and proud of this church for nurturing you into ministry. And so it is just a joyous day, and I hope that my blessings and the blessings of this congregation go with you into a long and fruitful ministry.
Hello, I'm Reverend Angeline C. Jackson. Alyssa and I have been friends since and Stephanie have been friends since the second semester of our first year of seminary. And the first time we met was June of this year. In person. In person. Excuse me. You're going to be standing for a little bit longer. You want to sit? Are you good?
I'm not going to drink water.
Yeah, all right. We're going to pause for a drink of water. Do you have a napkin? You have tissue?
Tissues, yes.
Okay. All right. All right. During the laying on of hands, this newly ordained minister, every newly ordained minister is surrounded by family, friends, and the community that has helped to shape them and call them into ministry. When we lay hands, we are bringing forth the presence, the ministry of those who have come before, those who make your ministry possible today. Beloved, you have been loved into ministry, formed by your seminary training, internship, contract ministry, and here now to be officially recognized as the minister you are and as I know you to be. We will begin by naming ancestors. Then I will invite each of you by group or name. As you come up, you will make a circle around Alyssa and place your hand on her. And if you can't reach her, that's fine. Touch somebody else who is touching Alyssa. Okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
We say the names of those who are no longer here, but who have been important to your formation. Grandfather George McBride, the Bowman family, Mateka grandparents, and Dick King, Eric and George. Stand on each side. Alyssa's family and chosen family. If you are family, chosen family, come on up. We're going to get tight. It's going to get big. It's going to be okay. Alyssa, all right. Religious professionals. All right. As I said, we're going to get big. Members of the Ordination Committee. Are you up here already? Members of the Ordination Committee. Friends. Your other... Alyssa's other friends. I could be more clear. Members of this congregation. If there are professors here who have not fallen in the category of religious professionals, please come forward. If I haven't said your name, or your group, and you would like to bring your energy into this circle, please join us. Folks online, please join us by lifting your hands, palms facing your camera. As you are able, breathe with me. Deep breath and release. Feel the energetic buzz of the divine, of our interconnectedness. Holy One of many names, we circle around our beloved Alyssa M. Lee, bearing witness to the ministry into which she has been called. We celebrate her. We affirm her. Ministry can be tough, and it can also be rewarding. In the moments of toughness, be the still small voice, constantly reminding her that she is loved and supported. That she need only turn around and there she will find Eric, George, family, friends, colleagues. May the rewarding, life-changing moments of ministry be a constant companion to our beloved. A reminder of why she chose this path. Spirit of love, love abundant, love overflowing, flow through our hands as we love on, pray up, and affirm this ministry, as we affirm our beloved Alyssa. We give thanks for this precious life, for the ways she has impacted so many, and for the ways she will impact so many more. We say yes to Alyssa's ministry, as she says yes to her call. Alyssa, feel this love, this community surrounding you. Carry it with you everywhere you go. Let the people say, Amen. Amen. Blessed be, and ashe. Let it be. and we can all return to our seats.
And now for our congregational favorite. This hymn is by special and popular demand in this congregation. Teal hymnal number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim soul, making our way by the light of the heavens in a beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
It definitely feels a little bit like this is your life. It's amazing to look out and just see all of you here, and I'm just so grateful. And I know there's so many people online that I'm just, okay, well, let's see if we can make it through this. Here we go. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, both in person and online. So many of you have loved me into being in both large and small ways. And I'm sure you don't even realize how many of those ways you've influenced me, but I am eternally grateful for all of you. If there is anything I hope you take away from this experience, it is to listen to the sound of the genuine within your own soul. Who are you called to be? What are you called to do? I believe each of us has a calling. Maybe it is to be a minister. Maybe it is to be a lawyer. Hopefully not for me anymore. Perhaps it is to go out and change the world. Or perhaps it is to be a great friend, parent, or neighbor. Or maybe it is to be someone who acts with kindness, who centers love in all you do, and constantly strives for justice in the world around you. I'm grateful for this experience and for all of you here. It's all right. That's a move you know that I would have done. So I'll say it again, though I feel like the words can never capture the depth of my feelings. Thank you. Thank you all so much, and I love you. And that's it.
The world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have. The world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This joy that I have. The world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. All this strength that I have, this strength that I have. This strength that I have. Oh yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh yeah. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh yeah. The world didn't give it to me. The world can't take it away. All this love that I have. Oh yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This love that I have, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. Singing, the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. This pride that I have, this pride that I have. This pride that I have. Oh yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This pride